So we have Toast, correct?
Yep.
So it's funny because we have a dog here at our daycare that is also named Toast, and it's a little chihuahua. So I thought this was this client. I'm like, oh, Toast is gonna get trained, and I saw like behave, not like behavior stuff and like reactive, like little Toast, and then like it said, oh, Pittie. So I was like, okay, I got them confused. It's just really funny. You're Corey, correct?
Yeah, that's me.
Corey and
Andrew.
Nice to meet you. I'm Enrique. So go ahead and fill me in on Toast with any information that you think I should know.
Sure. So we adopted him, God, like a while ago now, like 4 years. I don't even know. I can't keep track anymore. But he was already like a year and a half old when we got him from CACC. The only thing that we had information on him about, I mean, I don't know how real it is, was that he was supposedly an outdoor dog. He came perfectly potty trained, so that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
And he was in the pound for like almost 2 months. So he had learned, I guess, to behave himself in a way that we weren't aware of some of the behavioral issues that he came with. So in the beginning, he was, go ahead.
They also said he was in group play.
Yeah, like he would group play with the dogs.
Yeah.
So things were fine in the beginning, like typical like adjustment issues. I've raised a lot of dogs myself. Andrew maybe hasn't as much, but definitely no one like to this level of need. We brought our first friend over and he was fairly reactive to that friend. We've since been able to kind of like get him to the point where he does really well with people. He was very reactive on the leash. He was very like, it's more than anything skittish. Like he can be like this alpha dog but it's all like a front because he I don't know if he was hit or what, but even to this day, sometimes when you touch him, he'll like flinch. And that has calmed down a lot, but it's still there. At this point, like we know the drill of like how to introduce him to people, kind of taking it slow, all of those things. We spoke to a different trainer when we first got him because we were so concerned whether we'd have to give him back up, because we really were concerned he was going to bite somebody because of how he was. But we were able to work through that. And so at this point, he actually does like a really good job in terms of interacting with humans. And so what we're really hoping you can help us with is how he interacts with dogs, because more than anything, he wants it. He wants it so bad. He like is always intrigued by other dogs. It's usually like happy intrigued, not like scared or defensive intrigue. Like you can tell he wants to go over there. But like whenever I try to introduce dogs to him, it's like a crapshoot whether he'll do well or not. And I've tried to identify patterns of like whether it's just a big dog or whether it's a dog that was like a puppy and up in his face. And it's like more reliably with big dogs, but still it's a complete crapshoot. He does get along really well with the family dogs. So again, it's like once we've gotten him in a routine and it's like a normal environment that's really controlled at home, and something that he's adapted to and comfortable with, he does fine. We've never had any issues with that family dog. But it's meeting dogs for the first time, especially like on walks. When we first got him, he did have an altercation with my brother's dog. They had gotten along great. They had been like in the backyard together, always supervised. They had been playing around perfectly fine. Everything seemed good. And then Andrew brought out a ball and they were throwing a ball back and forth. Toast doesn't give a crap about the ball. He just cared about running with the other dog. And at one point, the other dog, I think this is right, correct me if I'm wrong, like wasn't paying attention to Toast. He cared about the ball. And Toast like kind of like was getting on his haunches, like nipping at him. And then it turned into like a whole altercation where they literally were like faces were locked on each other, like mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
And that was really scary. They both had like small puncture wounds from teeth. So ever since then, we've obviously been very, very careful.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'll stop there and hear what you have questions about or thoughts.
Is there anything else?
No, he is. I mean, he's like very well trained on the leash.
He's never had an altercation with a person. He's never bit anyone.
Never bit anybody. Really, that time with the my brother's dog is the only time he's actually been in an altercation with a dog. And again, I think it's because it seemed like it was okay. We hadn't had any warning signs up to that point, and then it just escalated really, really fast. And then since then, we've been very, very careful.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have reactive with people and dogs on leash, correct? So when you go for walks, that's when Toast starts to become reactive and interested in the dogs. But for the people, is Toast trying to get away from the people or just?
Yeah. So like I would say he's not reactive with people anymore. He is not. Yeah, we've been able to overcome that.
And we are able to walk by dogs. Like he's very fine. We have him on a gentle leader. Like I can take him on a walk, have someone pass on the same sidewalk. He's on my right in a heel, and we're just walking, and he ignores the other dog.
Right.
Where we're struggling is with
introductions.
Like, but yeah, he is not pulling. Like what he'll try and do is like the other dog will pass, and then he'll try and like sneak out a little bit and like catch their
distant whiff.
The distant whiff. But like he does not pull on the leash to go see dogs. He does not
like lunge, nothing.
He does not care about other people.
No.
He pays attention to the dogs, but he knows he needs to stay with us.
Yeah.
Ignores people.
Then so in the home, that's when he's reactive to people.
Yeah, he's cautious. Like
he just honestly, like, I wouldn't even call him reactive unless.
What does reactive mean to you?
Let's clarify.
So what reactivity stems like from frustration, or it's like the symptom of it. So if a dog is like maybe overstimulated and like excited outside, they become reactive because they're letting that frustration out, and they're barking. They want, I want to play, or whatever their true intentions are for the dog. They're letting them know, I'm feeling this way, I'm gonna bark, and I'm frustrated. I'm barking at this person.
Got it.
When someone enters a home and a dog becomes reactive, it's just like, who are you? What are you doing here? So they become like barky, and then they're very focused on this person. If someone comes in and then Toast is like, boof, boof, like these little mini barks around, and he's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Or like cautious and like nervous, like what's going on here.
That's him.
If it's like someone comes in and he goes, like the bark is like, and he keeps going bark, and nonstop, then that's a different type of mindset he's in. So how often do you have guests come over?
Not too frequently, especially with COVID, my God. But
we had someone recently come over within the past week.
We don't have to worry about bringing people into the home. We just always kind of like inform them, like ignore him, and he's fine because he's the cautious one. He's like weary of everyone
until he gets to kind of lead it. So like we tell him, hey, ignore Toast, and then let him approach you. Don't try and pet his head, and just kind of play like hard to get in a way, and let Toast kind of warm up to the idea. And then Toast just kind of keeps throwing himself at them, and then they can give him a treat or something, and then they usually are fine.
That's technically the correct way to do it. It's just I think I saw something in your consultations, like if there were any issues, it's mostly on human error, right? So like when, like you did correct, is like you need to let Toast make the decision to meet the person. You can't say, yeah, pet him, you know, he'll be comfortable if you pet him like right away. That's not how dogs work. It's like, who are you? Let me find out who you are first. Okay, you're not that bad. Okay, we're fine, right?
Exactly.
And that kind of translates the same thing with dogs. Is it's very difficult to make dogs like play on the spot, right? Sometimes dogs need to warm up to each other as well, or because we like to compare it to like the humans. Like you don't see, like you don't, unless you do, I don't know, but you wouldn't go to every single person, try shaking their hand and maybe having a conversation with every single person you see on the street, right? It's usually like you got your own thing to do, you got your thing, right? Same thing for dogs. Not every dog is a dog that Toast needs to say hi to. Sometimes just I needed to walk. But let's say you have a friend who gets a dog and you want them to become buddies or at least familiar with each other, then that's something different. That's something you guys can work on. But and then like the difficult part with these meeting the dogs on leash on walks and everything is something that we don't really recommend.
Okay.
Just because usually when the dogs meet on leash in the street on walks, they meet like this, right?
Yes.
This is unnatural. They're supposed to meet like this.
Right.
So like smelling each other's rears, getting to know each other's scents and everything. They're what their kind of what their goals are, right? Because if one dog is unsure and then the other dog is unsure, then there's possible fight or some sort of alter moments to happen.
Okay.
But if both dogs are like both on the same page, like they're both very playful and they know what they want, you're gonna get a play session there.
Yeah.
But if one dog is unsure, again, we don't know these other dogs, so we don't know how it's gonna go. Like, what if Toast becomes comfortable, but like let's say Toast maybe paws the dog and like maybe the dog doesn't like that and then snaps at Toast. Now we know Toast isn't the type of dog to back down when a dog goes at him, right?
Right.
So then there's a fight.
Right.
So just a lot of things to think about when you let Toast meet other dogs on the walks. I never let my dogs do it just because like she's fine with dogs.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the other dog, and then I also Chicago is like one of the highest, like how's it? Like there's a lot of like kennel cough, like these little diseases that pass by, right? It's the highest because you're in the city, obviously. There's a lot of dogs here, and then a lot of people do let their dogs meet other dogs. So here at the daycare, we require a lot of vaccinations, and then one day we'll get a dog that just got something from meeting a dog on the street or something like that, right? Because they can, these certain diseases can be passed through just smelling the butt your dog has, Giardia, or whatever it is that they can get. So we will so yeah, well, from Toast is just like with the breed, him being a Pittie, he's just intense, right?
Yes.
We find that a lot of pit bulls are just a very intense breed. So like if you have like for example, a reactive pit bull and a reactive German Shepherd, I already know that this pit bull is probably going to be more intense than the German Shepherd, right? That's just how it goes.
Okay.
There's no like who's more aggressive, right? That's not how that word is used. It's just intense. That's all. So if a pit bull has the prey drive and the German Shepherd's prey drive, I already know that pit bulls can have way more intense prey drive and be good with that, or food drive, or whatever it is that we're looking at. What else? And that fight with the family dog.
Yeah.
Oh no, your brother's dog. Your brother's dog? A family dog?
Yeah, brother's dog. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be worried about Toast himself. I'd be more worried about your brother's dog, because that was a resource guarding type fight cause. That was the cause of it, resource guarding. So everything was going great until you brought the ball in. Ball. He gets caught off, like you said, when Toast is right here. Doesn't like how close Toast is with the ball. Goes at Toast. Toast is like, no, you're not gonna, I'm not gonna bow down to you. Mm-hmm. Toast doesn't know it's for the ball. He just like, whoa, this is happening. I need to defend myself, right? So that's where you get a fight. Toast isn't a resource guarder. It was the other dog who snapped at Toast, but then in result, Toast went back at him. So I wouldn't label Toast aggressive or anything. Just it was valid. You know, he's gonna get if he's getting attacked, or if my dog is getting attacked from something, I would want my dog to do everything she can to defend herself. So if anything, it's valid. There's no issues there. You just have it's just nature. You just have a dog that is willing to defend themselves and not it's if anything that's good.
Okay.
What else? It is a little traumatizing to see your dog attack a dog or get stuck like lock jaw, not lock jaw, like just like a patch.
Yeah.
Then you think, oh my god, my dog can do this, right? But any dog can do it.
Right.
It's just, why did it happen, right? The other dog caused it over a ball. So now I know that when I see a dog with a ball, like you bring Toast to the park and there's balls around here, I already know, like, I don't know, I don't trust these dogs. When I'm at a dog park, I don't know. But if you're like in an open field, like at Oz Park or something, and you see someone playing fetch, keep your distance from that dog because you don't know if that dog is very possessive of the ball. Right. So if anything, you're more aware of other dogs and just kind of going about it with that during Toast's life, just kind of keeping him safe and separated from that scenario.
Right.
And then you mentioned something about touching him. Or
yeah.
First, before I move on, any questions so far about any of those things I brought up?
Go ahead.
Is there, I feel like when the other dog was being possessive of their ball, and maybe this goes to the intensity thing you're talking about, and maybe that's just his breed, but it's like the other dog's like, hey, this is my ball, back off. And then Toast is like, well, let's kill each other. Is that just like where the intensity is? Because like that's kind of like, are we stuck with that? Is that something that can be worked down to where maybe Toast like does a similar action of like, hey, you back off, rather than being like, oh, it's go time now, because like they were friendly and it went, it escalated. Like, even though he was guarding the ball, it felt like it wasn't like a kill mode. Or maybe that's just dogs, that's where my expertise is. And I'm like putting my human thing of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't go there. But like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because the human way would be like, let's talk about this. Let's see why you deserve the ball, right? Dogs don't do that. It's what you said. They're just gonna go to the death if they need to do that over a little ball. That's how dogs work. Obviously, there are some dogs who, let's say, are playing. One mounts the other dog does a quick bite. The other dog, okay, I know I don't mount you, right?
Yeah.
There are other dogs who would mount that dog, and the dog that's getting mounted would bite, and keep going, and he would overdo the correction. So for those scenarios, if let's say he's in a spot where like, oh no, I need to get him out of here, right? We will give you the tools and knowledge to how to get Toast out of a scenario or an environment where that he's probably gonna go overboard if this dog addresses him. So then we'll give you the tools to kind of bring it back to you without a leash or anything like that.
Okay.
But because when you're addressing those moments, what you're teaching him is, or what you would probably want to teach him is like avoidance of like, hey man, if you feel uncomfortable here, leave the situation instead of addressing yourself. But again, he didn't start anything. Someone started something. He wanted to finish it. That's just how dogs work. And it will also give you the tools as well that, let's say he does get in a situation and he's in a fight, we'll give you those tools. And I'm pretty sure, we do a lot of e-collar and prong collar training. The e-collar would definitely help you in those situations of getting him out of a situation before it starts, or if the situation does start, ending it super quickly. Does that answer your question about like
that helps
overkill and everything, or like killing over dogs killing each other over balls and everything like that? Yeah,
that helps.
But it's just nature. It's just how they do things. But like the human way again would be, let's talk about it. But like dogs don't talk. They're very reactive animals. So if something happens in the moment, they're just gonna react right away. They don't think. They don't like, should I fight this guy over this ball? Really? It's just like, well, you bit me, I'm gonna bite you back, and we're gonna keep going. Any other questions?
Maybe you have it in your topic scheme. I would like to hear more about the e-collar part of the training program, but like if that's just a part where we end up, that's awesome. I was just throwing out there I want to hear more about that because we've done more positive reinforcement training and that's where we're at.
I'll get into it. What else?
I think you asked too about him and being touched. It's something that he's had since we brought him home. So it's gotten a lot better, but generally speaking, like even if he sees that you're about to pet him, like it's just a flinch, like his skin will jump. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if he was hit or like what it was that trained him to react that way when he's expecting like contact.
And it's mostly on his back.
Yeah, it's mostly his back.
It's not on his head or anything. He doesn't like if you touch him on the head, he doesn't like jerk or anything. It's really his anything below the neck. The skin just literally like tenses up.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's
it. Yeah, really.
And when was the last time this would happen? Does it happen with you guys?
Yeah. It happened like today. Like
you touch his rear, he flinches, like the skin flinches.
Correct.
The skin flinches, yeah.
Like he doesn't seem scared. He does like nothing about his demeanor is changed. Like he doesn't react in any way. It's just like
So like sometimes when I pet him and I know he can't see me, like I will kind of like start like higher up just to not get him to flinch because I know sometimes like I know when he would flinch, so I'm like trying to pet him but not like let him know I'm there.
Have you ever surprised him on accident,
like with petting him or something?
Yeah, or anything in general?
Yeah,
for sure.
What is he? Was he just
he shuts down more than anything. We haven't had him like come at us.
Yeah.
There was like early on, there was some times where he would growl. I think he also was taught not to vocalize. So it took us a long time. Like he did a lot of freezing. Like that was his warning for us early on. And that was a big thing we had to learn about. Now we've gotten to the point where if he is feeling uncomfortable, he'll let out like a little low, like, grr, but like, or he'll like kind of like flinch his lip, like still not even snarling, just like little lip flinches. And that's, I think, like the best we've got in terms of him being.
Yeah, he doesn't
react.
Yeah, when he gets surprised, he's shut down, more cautious, sad.
Does he try to move away, like away?
No.
He kind of freezes.
He freezes. Yeah, no. He's gotten a lot better with people. Like, so for instance, in the beginning, like he's a beautiful dog. So everybody's always like, oh my God, so beautiful. Can I pet him? And a lot of the time people will just go in without like waiting for me to say like, no. In the beginning, he would just freeze and be like, holy shit, they're attacking me. And then he'd like let out like a little warning nip. Never made contact, but would like freeze until their hand's like right there. And then he'd nip at it. But now he pulls away more. Now he knows like, ugh. So, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, for that, it just sounds like he's just insecure and like Definitely. A little nervous about it. So for that, it would be kind of, how do I say, addressing the snappiness, right? So what we would do is just kind of put him under pressure to kind of see what he's really like thinking about.
Okay.
Right? So when we do this, we're addressing like the root of it, of why he's like this.
Yeah.
So we don't really ponder, or because dogs only think in the present. They don't think about the past or future. So, you know, so like when dogs who are rescued from the shelter, like I think Jesse had a dog that was like maybe a golden or something, maybe it was a pit bull. I forget what the breed it was, but this dog was like shot multiple times. So, and it was rescued, but then the dog was just happy-go-lucky, like they didn't care, right? But then there's other dogs who are actually like bought from breeders, and then they're just very nervous or they have anxiety from a puppy to this, right? Now, nothing happened. It's just genetics. That's just how the puppy was born. So that puppy is just an anxious puppy, right? And it will be anxious till the day it dies. It's just now how we're going to handle and how we're going to control this anxiety for the dog to make life not seem so anxious or like something to be anxious about or stressed. So for Toast, I wouldn't worry about like the past, because again, dogs don't think that. They think what's happening now.
Okay.
So it just seems like he's just very uncomfortable with it. And what we would need to do is just kind of put him under pressure, like, hey, this is nothing bad, right? And we need to see what he wants to do when someone actually approaches him and wants to touch him, and we just touch him, right? So
Yeah.
after that, once we're touching him, what he's realizing is that, oh, like, because what he's realized there when he stopped snapping was like, okay, these people aren't trying to hurt me, so there's no reason to snap, but I still don't like it, so now I'm gonna avoid. Right?
Yeah.
The Toast has probably received, maybe you might have done something unintentionally, like, hey, Toast, don't do that, like, probably like not like not yelled or anything, but like you've done something to make him feel uncomfortable for snapping. But it's harder. It's doesn't really fix it because he doesn't want to be pet. He's like, I don't like this person, and then he just tries to defend himself or does something, and then you yell at him, and he's like, I'm afraid of this person. You're yelling at me. I'm definitely gonna be more afraid of this person because I'm uncomfortable from my owner and this person. So now I don't like it, right?
Yeah.
So the way e-collar works, and like I said, I'll get into it, is that it's very non-confrontational. Toast will never know that you're pressing the button and anything like that. So like a common question would be, will Toast hate me if for shocking him? No, we've never seen it. Dogs still have their goofiness in them and everything. They're still goofy and everything like that. But like I said, it all comes down to like genetics and how they perceive and understand like pressure. So for the touch, we will definitely work on that. Now, like you said, doesn't I don't I what we can't make happen and would be really up to Toast is like being like cuddly, right? That's just on him. What we can do is that when someone touches you, you just don't bite them. If you don't like it, leave the situation. Which it sounds like he's already kind of understanding that like process.
Yeah.
But then sometimes when you start these exercises, dogs do become not cuddly, but like, I want affection now because I know what this means now. I know that I won't, it's nothing to be afraid of, and I know that this is like a good thing.
Okay.
But similar to like dogs who have dog aggression, but used to make friends. So like a dog made friends, something happened. I hate all dogs now, right? That's easy because the dog has already made friends before. So all we need to do is just address his certain behaviors. And then eventually you'll see him be like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then they'll start playing. But then if it's like, no, I still don't like dogs, but I'll put up with it, that's good as well. So I'm just being realistic with you that, again, we probably, it's up to Toast if he wants to be cuddly and kind of a coddle dog.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Our goal is not to change him. It's like the thing is that we can just see that like what we're doing is not working, and like he isn't able to get past whatever thing, like if he's not a dog, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
but I like know that not to be true because of what you said. It's like he loves other dogs.
Correct.
He just struggles.
Yeah.
To get there.
So we'll definitely touch that. We call it the touch exercise.
Okay.
What else?
He also is like such a huge cuddler. He loves being pet. He loves attention. He loves all those things. For whatever reason, he like just can't accept it from strangers. And if that's what it is in the end, that's fine. You know, like again, if that's where it goes, then fine. But it just, I hate to see him so uncomfortable and so unsure of himself all the time. I feel bad.
And then you said something about the vet as well, that it's happening there as well, correct?
Yeah, it's really bad at the vet, like really bad. Like even with the muzzle on, even with me like holding him down, like, which obviously is bad in its own way. Yeah, I don't know what happened, because when Andrew first took him, they were able to like take his stitches out from him being neutered. Fine. Like he rolled over on his belly, like let them take out the stitches, no problem. And then ever since then, it's been really bad. Like I had to muzzle train him. I had to do this. We haven't been able to do blood work for the like last time because like, so I haven't been able to like check for heartworm, even though we keep treating him, because like the vet can't get close enough to safely collect blood. So
what does he do?
We have gone to the medical district vet because they were one of the people that said that they were like comfortable trying to help him. They like spend a bunch of time with him in the room trying to make him comfortable, trying to like feed him a bunch of like happy snacks and peanut butter and all these things, but he still is like anxious as soon as he gets there. And then trying to just interact with him barely, and then work up to being able to actually do things like give him his vaccination and stuff.
And how does Toast react?
How does Toast react? Oh, he gets like really nervous.
Oh, he tries to bite them.
And he tries to bite them. Yeah.
He tries to bite them. And then they still don't want to do it even though he's muzzled?
He will like thrash his whole body around. Like we can't contain him because he's freaking out.
Yeah, like he would really have to be restrained. And like it just,
and that only amps it up more. Like like he does not do well when we try to like hold him back. He like pulls against that. We know that from like leash training and all these things. So
I mean, it's also kind of like haphazard restraining too. It's not like they have a device and he's breaking out of the device. It's just like two people trying to hold him down, but he's, you know, growling and barking and biting, and he has a muzzle on, but still he's
a 90-pound strong dog.
90-pound strong dog with claws, you know, and we trim him and whatnot, but he can still get scratched. And
and he thrashes his head around, like he'll headbutt you.
But yeah, if you want to see the killer that we're talking about, that he was on his back until he got the camera on him. But,
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, that's the vicious killer we're talking about.
You're a big old cuddle buddy, baby.
So yeah, the touch exercise will technically carry into that, and again, we'll give the tools and everything. We have a client where she was kind of in the same situation, but they ended up just like putting the vet ended up putting their dog, the client's dog, I don't know what it's called, like they just knocked the dog out and they do different stuff. But then she started the e-collar stuff, and then now they kept the dog awake, and she said he was like 100 times better, you know, with the e-collar and her being there and addressing certain things. But then like the vet ended up giving them like a ton of crap, like, you know, e-collar's not working or it's not going to work. And then she's like, well, help me, right? And then it's starting to work for her at the vet. So it's making the life a lot more easier. Still doesn't like the vet, but at least they're not getting the, you know, what you said, like the crocodile rolling and like the thrashing around, the bucking around, right?
Yeah.
So that will be kind of going hand in hand with the touch exercise.
Okay.
What else? And then any other, like, are you looking for other obedience? Like, are you looking for other commands, like obedient commands, or just kind of your main focus is kind of introducing him to the other dogs, little touch exercises with him, and then in-home like in-home exercises for like people walking in and other things like that. Correct?
Yeah, I would say really the first two.
Yeah, he's very obedient. Like we've done like a beginning course at, I don't remember what the name was. Then we did the advanced. He's even done like a smelling course where he would like go into a room and do scent training, and he was really good at that too. He's like always excelled at the obedient training, ignoring other dogs. He was always like top 1 or 2 dogs every time. So he's like, he's a very good listener, and like he aims to do what we say.
Yeah.
So it's just that like when those switches start turning on, we're not getting past it. But when we're connected, he's like very obedient.
Good recall. We've had him off leash tons of places. We have like high confidence in that. Again, even if there's like another dog that's approaching him, he knows like he needs to come to us. Like he's very well behaved that way. But if for whatever reason the dog like gets to him before he knows to come back to us, then it's like all hell might break loose. So
yeah. Or like when we have him leashed and someone else has their dog off leash.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And their dog isn't listening and their dog's approaching our dog, which is like nightmare scenario. Well, not nightmare. I guess nightmare is they're both unleashed, but it's really sucks when you're trying to be the responsible owner and have your dog leashed and then someone else knows his dog and you're like, well, I'm going to do my best, but.
And then you said he's never like got in a fight with a dog on leash, or does he just kind of snaps and that's it?
Yeah, I would say that. He just sounds really scary. And like what has he done? He's really just, he lunges and he like wants to tackle them. I don't know.
There's a little scuffle type thing.
Yeah, definitely scuffling, like in no way submissive.
But not intense. I don't
like
think
he's ever bit anybody.
Yeah,
like
it's not like
like that. He's just very like in your face. Well, I don't even know what the word is.
Yeah,
intense, I guess.
Yeah, when he meets other dogs, he'll like proud chest, nose straight up.
Yeah.
Like tails wagging,
like face to face,
tails wagging, but he definitely gets in their face and just sits, kind of freezes there, and then like
seems challenging.
Yeah,
he's challenging
them. Yeah, he's never bit another dog while he's on leash, or in my opinion, really tried to. Maybe he's made an attempt at a nip, but like that's after like a little bit of workup.
Right. Never been any contact. And I think a lot of that is also because we're like on high alert and we like pull them away really fast.
That's true too.
So
yeah, we also use a gentle leader, and it works really well with him.
Good. Yes. Just a heads up that tail wagging isn't always a good thing. Sometimes, I'm pretty sure you might have seen. You probably weren't focused on it, but when dogs in dog fights, or if a dog is biting a person, their tail is wagging.
Right.
So something it's not always play. It's something that's just they're just feeling intense and excited in that situation about it. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. I think we hit all the things.
Does e-collar stay on all the time?
Yeah. We'll get into it. I'm gonna talk about kind of like the methods and like how we use it and like what e-collar is first, and then we'll talk about how we would use it for a dog like Toast, what would need to be done before we start addressing behavior stuff with the e-collar, because there's a common practice where you slap an e-collar on a dog, maximum, do the bad thing, will shock you, which is the incorrect way. It's not how you do it, and that won't fix the problem. Same thing like prong collars. Like, I had a client or a consultation, the guy said like, yeah, we did the prong collar and she was just leash pop off like everything, and then the dog ended up getting just like a very edgy type of dog, just like very edgy on edge because it's expecting the correction, right?
Yeah.
So it's wrong ways and better ways. I mean, there technically isn't a wrong way to train a dog with these tools. Whatever works, right? But if it's not working, obviously it's wrong. So there are different ways. So here we have a few methods that you've been using. You said positive reinforcement. That's like the food stuff. It's good for things you want to see, like obedience commands. Like you sit, you put the butt down, you mark it yes, and then you reward. You keep doing that over repetitions. The dog knows SIT means put my butt down, I get the food. They never know that sit actually means put the butt down. They just know that when they hear this word and they do this action, they get the food, and that's good. Um, Issues with positive reinforcements that sometimes the ceiling is really low for some dogs. So a dog can maybe see a squirrel, and then you're trying to get your dog to disengage and engage back with you. So you're holding your turkey, right? And then the dog is literally looking at the squirrel thinking, I can get that turkey later, but the squirrel, I cannot. So they always choose the squirrel, right? So that's where like owners will kind of be like, what's the word? Like they'll feel like just like not that they're not making any progress, and they'll never reach that level of obedience. But the method they're using isn't made or isn't created to create that level of obedience. If you're trying to get that level of obedience with food, it's going to take you a long time and a lot of repetitions. And a lot of these owners are just owners. They're not dog trainers. A dog trainer can probably make it happen, right? Because they're a dog trainer. But dog owners, it's not realistic for them because they have their job, they have their kids, they have their husband, they have all these other things, and then they have the dog. So it's unrealistic for certain dogs and for certain people. So after positive reinforcement, we go to like gentle leader, right? Gentle leader is a good tool for like control and everything. It's not a tool to use to correct behaviors.
Right.
It's only to control. So once you control the head, you control the body. So it's very easy to control your dog with the gentle leader. Before gentle leader, actually, it's harness. So the harnesses are not recommended for like leash walking skills or anything like that, or like reactivity, because harnesses are meant for pulling, right? So huskies wear harnesses, horses wear harnesses. We use harnesses in protection training, right? We'll put the harness on the dog. We'll pull back and release, because dogs have what is called opposition reflex. If you pull back, they pull forward. If you pull left, they go right. If you pull right, they go left. And if you pull back, they want to go forward. So when you pull back and they want to go forward, you let them go and you pull back again, it gets frustrating because this is negative pressure. They don't like this. So sometimes when owners get puppies, since we use it for like protection training, we're creating aggression. Once we've seen enough frustration and aggression, we let the dog go, and they go and bite the guy in the bite suit. So sometimes owners unintentionally, when they get a puppy on a harness, could be training for protection work, because if the puppy wants to see someone, say hi, whatever, wants to go say hi, whatever, then the owner pulls them back and continues walking. That puppy is like, that was annoying. I didn't like this. As it keeps happening, they start to notice every time I see a person, every time I see a dog, I get this feeling there has to be a connection here. So then it grows into frustration. That frustration turns into reactivity, because now they need to let everyone know I'm frustrated. Every time I see you, I get this feeling I don't like it, and I want to go to you. Then sometimes, if it's practiced for a very long time, that frustration reactivity can turn into real aggression. That every time I see this dog, I get this feeling I need to eliminate this, the cause. So we don't recommend harnesses. And then again, gentle leader, and then after that is prong collar. Prong collars are those spiky ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those, yeah. Those are a good step forward, because now you're allowing, now you can correct your dog for behaviors. So prong collars, the reason why there's a lot of success with them is because it's supposed to mimic a dog bite. So it's physical, right? Dogs are physical animals. If a dog doesn't like another dog doing something, they bite, as you saw with your brother's dog. There's no, hey, leave my ball alone. Oh, you left it alone, here's a treat, good boy. It's just, you do this, you get that right away. So prong collar is their language. Now the issues with prong collar is sometimes it's not enough. So if like a dog is super excited and amped up for a squirrel, another dog, person, whatever they're focused on, and you start correcting that dog, sometimes the dog is on a 10 on their like excitement energy level scale, right? And your strongest leash pop could be a 7. You're never going to override the brain. You're never going to get your dog to disengage because your strongest is a 7. You're never going to be able to do it. And your dog is overriding that and more focused on whatever they're looking at. The other issue for prong collar is that you can train a prong collar, you can train sit down, stay in place, all these commands, but once you take the leash off, you lost all control because now you can't make these commands happen. Because the only way to make the commands happen would be prong collar, like pulling up or pulling down or left or right or whatever you're doing training wise. So like I said, prong collar is a good step forward because you can correct, but the issues would be sometimes it's not enough, or you take the leash off, you've lost all control. Then that brings us to e-collar. So e-collar, common old school term would be shock collar, right? So the e-collars we use are electric, but they're not electricity. So it's not flowing through the dog's body. Have you guys ever been to a physical therapist or a chiropractor?
Yeah.
Have you ever had stim or like a TENS unit?
Yeah.
That same technology is e-collar. It's just a muscle contractor. So the way that they might have done it to you, the way that the doctors or the physical therapists go about is that they'll say, let me know when it's too uncomfortable as they raise the level. Once they reach a certain level, the client will say, hey, that's enough. It's a little too uncomfortable. They lower it 2 levels down, and then they let the machine do its work. That same way is very similar to how we do our dog training with the e-collar stuff. So again, the same technology that's used on the collars for our dogs is used on humans. It's just a muscle contractor. It's not shocking or anything. So if I'm holding the collar, the box, and I have the 2 contact points on my hand, I keep going up. You're gonna start to see my thumb just move like this. Can it get uncomfortable? Yes. But you're not gonna see my whole body shake. It's just whatever those 2 points, prongs are touching. The brand we use is called Dogtra. That's the brand that Jesse has been using for many, many, many years and has gotten the most success from it. There are other brands out there. We have a second, like a go-to, another one that's called Econ Technologies, but they feel different. Like they're both very good, very professional and everything, but the Econ Technologies feels different, and we notice a different type of response from our dogs. So we always go to Dogtra. Dogtra has their e-collars have 127 levels. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 127. There are other models, brands out there that maybe go up to 10 or like a 15. So think of 10 equal to 127. We have so many more numbers to be more specific to the dog's personality, the breed, the scenario we're in. We can be very specific. So on that 10 level e-collar, 5 is getting toast yelping. It's too much. But 4 is not working. He's not reacting to it. Then you're stuck. So for us, if 40 is too high, 40 is too high, 30 is too low, we can go to 35, 36, 34. We can be very specific. They're waterproof. You have a mile to a half. I think the one you would be getting has a mile long range. I don't know if you would need a mile long range for toast, but you have that range. They're waterproof. They're rechargeable. You don't need batteries. You just plug them into the wall. Very easy to use. They last long. What else? Any questions about the e-collar itself?
None. I think I'm going to have some questions around implementation. Like, for example, we're talking about, hey, harness gives me this negative feeling when these things happen. And now I like kind of carry that on with me to aggression. Like I think like, oh, if I did a e-collar stim, that same negative thing that I'm putting on them when this event happens, like is is there some association to that too, or like yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but that's a good question because a lot of times harnesses are making the dog move forward. So when you pull back, they want to go forward. But e-collar doesn't do that. The e-collar doesn't make a dog want to do something. It makes them not want to do something or not think about doing something. So like if we're trying to teach a dog heel, like to walk nicely, because our heel is walk with me, sit with me, stay when walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So if you take 5 steps with Toast, Toast takes 5 steps. If you take 10, Toast takes 10. If you come to a stop, he's to automatically sit at your side. Loose leash, right shoulder parallel with your left leg in any environment, that much focus. If we're using a harness there, the harness is telling him to pull, right? Because that's a harness's job. But then the e-collar is telling him to not pull. So he's getting mixed signals. So if the dog has a harness and they want to go somewhere, there's no way to disengage your dog because the harness is telling them to go there if they want to go there. So if he pulls and I'm pulling back, he's getting frustrated because he wants to go there. But then this is also annoying. So he's getting two different signals here, right? They're both causing the frustration. The e-collar is if he wants to go somewhere, he's not on a harness, but he's feeling this, he's getting this feeling. So he's like, that's the dog. There's an issue there, this dog, but this is annoying me. So are you either gonna it's like looking at a ghost. Are you either gonna focus on something that's not touching you, that's not doing anything to you, it's just there, or this actual feeling that's physically touching you and more annoying than that dog? What are you gonna listen to? Usually it's this. Yeah. We've had some dogs that when they feel this and they're thinking about doing something, they feel it and then they react, right? Because at that moment, e-collar to them means go, not no. So there's a specific way we need to train that this actually means no and not to go, and that's just about being consistency, having consistency, and then just more practice with that scenario. But that's different. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's helpful.
One of the questions I had was with him being jumpy like he is, and also being like when we give him a really hard no, in our authoritative tone, he understands he shouldn't do that. He just shuts down so hard for a while, usually a half hour. So I guess I'm just concerned, do you feel like with that personality type, the e-collar is still a good idea?
Yes, better.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because what you're doing is you're being very confrontational. So okay. Confrontation isn't always good.
Right.
So that before e-collar, he'll never know where it's coming from. He'll know what to do, but he thinks it's like the universe or something telling him. So when you confront the dog, you get this, right? Because they're like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the e-collar is just correcting the behavior. They're not looking at anyone. They just know, okay, that was weird. I got this feeling when I did something, probably shouldn't do it again. And they move on. So for example, because sometimes when you confront a dog, maybe let's say he does something and then one day he's like, you're confronting him body and everything. Maybe he's like, no, I want it. And maybe he confronts you back. Then you're stuck because now it's like an argument. Because what you're doing is you're creating an argument and there's a lot of emotion and energy, right? Correcting a dog for a bad behavior should be minimal energy or no energy, calm, and just straight no, right? But if it's you have to create this energy, your dog is going to shut down because of how much energy is there and maybe too much energy, right? Okay. For the e-collar, we can be very specific. Okay, if a 10 kind of was too much, or maybe a 30 was too much for Toast, right? Maybe he did something and it was overreactive. Okay, now we know we can go lower. And maybe the 5 is where he understands, I don't do that, but we're not getting shut down behavior, right?
Yeah.
So with dogs who have, because e-collar training starts when a puppy has reached 6 months. Obedience, behavior, whatever we're doing, it's e-collar right away for us here at Canine Perspective. We've done e-collar training with 4-month-old puppies before. A European Doberman. She's gonna be a big girl, so she wanted as much control as she had or she can get. 4 months old, 4-week board and train. After the board and train, she was completely off-leash trained, right? I can walk her wherever I want it. Her right shoulder is glued to my left leg and sits every time I stop. 4-month-old puppy was able to do that, right? Deaf dogs, blind dogs, dogs with collapsed tracheas. We've done it all those types of dogs. Heart conditions, heart murmurs, we haven't had any issues with those. Insecure, nervous. I remember I had a lesson with a lady whose dog was just terrified. She entered the training session and the dog was just shaking. but we didn't start training yet. She's just shaking right away because just a nervous dog, right? We start e-collar training, and in 3 weeks, this dog's head is high and walking with confidence, right? Because this e-collar makes dogs think that they are making a decision. So then they feel like, I did that, nothing happened. Oh, it's not bad. And then if you keep going through the moments like those, confidence will start to increase, and they'll know nothing bad's going to happen. I got this. So Luna was actually, like I said, like three classes in, she was just like, again, walking head high, tail wagging like this, everywhere we went, just super confident. And then she couldn't believe it. She was just like, I thought this would not be a thing. Like, it wasn't her goal to make her dog confident. It was just like, yeah, she shakes sometimes, but she just wanted like some obedience. But then she also got this with it, and she was like super happy with that as well. So I think e-collar would be a good tool for a dog like Toast, just because how soft he is with pressure and energy, right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
How long does like this type of a training, like for the example, like is the e-collar something that we keep on the dog, and that's just like a new lifestyle thing with us?
Yeah. So the e-collar is on when you need it. So on walks after training, it will be on always, right? Because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk.
Right.
So like say, I don't know, a car crash happens, or maybe some child is coming running up to Toast, right? You have that e-collar to correct behavior. Because again, we can't predict what's going to happen. Now, we're not going to be tapping or pressing that button all the time. We shouldn't be. That's all that is in the beginning to get all that hard work done. Like my dog, Jesse's dog, all the other trainers' dogs here, we only press the button like once a month for emergencies, maybe, because we've done all the hard work already. It's just there just in case. But in the home, like right now, he's just chilling. You don't need it then. If you're gonna have guests come over, you would collar him up just in case. Because let's say he does get comfortable with guests, and maybe he becomes like a jumpy dog, like he's excited and wants to jump on them. You'll collar him up 30 minutes prior, address whatever is needing to be addressed. Within that night, if you find that he's pretty much settled throughout that night, you can take it off. If you want to keep it on, you can keep it on. So again, it's on when you need it, but it's not a tool that's used for the program. And after the program, it comes off. It's still there.
Okay.
What else? So for Toast, what we would do is most likely teach him heel, right? Our version of heel, all over again, right? Now, although you're not looking for heel, we need to let him know how e-collar works and now that he is the one in control of it. And heel is a very good exercise for dogs to understand what e-collar is. Once we teach him heel, then we can go ahead and proceed to the other behavioral issues you guys are having. Do you guys want recall with the like an off-leash recall, or you said you already have a good recall?
He does like okay. I would say it depends how interested he is in whatever thing he's interacting with out there. But like he will come. He's not like on the dime though. So if that's another good one for training, then yeah, I think it could be beneficial.
I would recommend it.
Okay.
He does get in a situation because e-collar can get you recall on a dime. When we say we make it happen right away. There's no, come on, like there's no bribing or anything. There's nothing extra. It's just I call you, you come right away. Okay. So I do recommend it. So heel and recall for sure. And then the rest of your program would be addressing the behavioral issues. What else? Were you guys looking for like one-on-one in person, or what do you have an idea what program you like to do, or I can run through them for you if you want?
Yeah, I think that would be beneficial because I don't know if we qualify like specifically for the reactivity one, which was pretty expensive if I remember, or if you think there's something else that would be more appropriate.
Reactivity. Oh, I see. I mean, like one-on-one in person, or like were you thinking like a board and train, or you want to do like one-on-one, like meet?
I think probably more one-on-one, right, Andrew?
What are I don't know what all the options are.
As opposed to board and train.
Yeah, is there a class? Or
so one-on-one is because for the in-person we have 6-week, 9-week, and 12-week. So the 6-week is you walk your dog around the block, you need recall, and then you go home, obedience-wise. 9-week is you walk your dog around the block, structurally and everything, like the 6-week. You need recall, and then you take your dog to like patios, outdoor patios, and you need your dog to not move for an hour or 2 hours. The 12-week is all those things, but then you need to go off-leash hiking. So it's just kind of depending how life looks. But for you, 2 classes on heel, 2 classes recall. So that's 4 classes. If we do the 6, you only have 2 classes left, which is not enough. So it's most likely going to be the 9-week that you're going to be looking for. Since you're only looking for heel and recall, you have all that room, like wiggle room, right? So 4 classes, and then you have 5 here. So the 5 would be kind of socializing with dogs, teaching how to introduce them to dogs, touch exercises, which is going to take about 2 classes or 3, and then your last class would be guests entering the home. So that's how it would play out to kind of get all these issues done with or handled for a tote. If I come up with another plan that we work out for you, I'll also have that, because I'm going to send you a follow-up email after this consultation with like the programs we talked about, the prices, the e-collar I recommend for Toast, giving you the option to order it yourself on Amazon, or you can purchase it through us, personal preference, same price and all. For the follow-up email, you'll also get a agreement form that needs to be signed. Once that form is signed, we can go ahead and begin billing and booking. We operate at Oz Park. Depending, I have to think how the first lesson might go. Because do you know of Oz Park?
Mm-mm. Where is it?
Where are you guys from? Are you guys from the city?
We're in West Loop.
Okay. Oz Park is like near Lakeshore Drive, like in the city, really in the city. It's like the busiest park in Chicago. But first lesson might be done at our facility, just because I'm going to predict some maybe tension with like me or people. So if he makes like a moment of like, for me, because one-on-one is not the trainer touching the dog. We don't touch the dog. It's all verbal instruction. We are just telling you what to do, because you're doing everything yourself. All the training is tied to you. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to walk Toast. I'm not going to handle Toast.
We need to be trained, really.
So if we do the 9-week, it'd be meeting 9 times at 1 p.m. on Sundays at Oz Park. And then you get 9 slots plus 1. That plus 1 is just in case you get a cancellation or like it rains or some life happens, Once you've used that extra slot, you'll have to wait to get back on the calendar. But it's an hour a week. You get your homework, you practice, you come back to the next class, we teach something new, or we continue whatever exercise we've been doing behavior-wise, like touching or dog socialization. Everything is recorded, so if you ever forget anything or you want to see something, it's all there for you on YouTube to rewatch.
I haven't been a part of the emails or anything. I just kind of joining this. What is the price range, if I could just get a ballpark on things?
Let me see.
Like, let's say we went with a 9-week, the one that you just recommended, right? Like, that's the one you think would be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'd be that one. Let's see. Right now, the 9-week is $1,350.
Okay.
What were you looking at that was a different price?
I think that's probably it. Don't worry about it. It was very late at night.
Yeah. Does that include the tax? Just curious.
There's no taxes. It's just that's just the flat price.
Okay.
Minus 135. My consultation fee goes towards your program.
Okay.
We also have payment plans as well. So it's just, I think it's like, I don't want to say, I forget. It's like they're like split up into different, and like they're due on different dates for the 9-week program.
Got it.
Any other questions?
None. The more, if you send us any information or something, we can read and whatnot. We have a busy schedule coming up in October. So we definitely want to schedule something where it's still fall, but like we definitely don't want to like have it where we're missing out on meetings. But so yeah, any information you send, we're definitely capable of reading it and figuring it out and kind of talking amongst ourselves.
Got it. Trying to see if I'm missing anything.
How would we do the dog socialization part? Like, would you bring a dog, or would we just use strangers on the street?
No, we would either bring a dog,
okay,
or if you know a dog or you have a friend that has a dog and you're wanting them to become friends or like have a bond, we can use that dog as well.
Okay.
That dog would have to like not have any behavioral issues.
Okay.
But we can also bring a dog as well if that's the case, because we're just teaching you how to do it, right?
Right.
Now, we have a lot of videos as well of us doing the exercise that you'll be able to look at and everything. And then I don't think we have. I'll have to check to see if we have any touch sensitivity exercises on our channel that you can also watch and get an idea for. But I think. Any other questions?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
I think I touched everything. Do you own a regular flat collar?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it snap-on or is it like a buckle like one of these?
Snap.
So it's a little clip, like the little whatever the prong thingy. Whoop.
You're gonna want to go ahead and grab like the ones that like go through the loop and everything.
Oh, okay, like a belt, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Just from experience, the snap ones tend to snap off. Like I've had a lot of moments where they just come undone, but
Okay.
these obviously won't because it's a buckle and everything. What else? So yeah, I'll send you the follow-up email. Actually, not me. My assistant Tina will send you the follow-up email regarding everything we talked about, and then whenever you are ready to get something set up, you'll let her know. You'll sign the form. Once the form is signed, then we can begin billing and booking.
Okay.
If any questions come up between then or between the time of the follow-up email and everything like that, feel free to let me know, and I'll go ahead and answer any questions that you guys have. And then I'll also include your email in the follow-up email.